Hello, I greet you from Schmölln. My name is Marco Allenstein. I have been with the company Indu-Sol for many years and work in the service department. During this time, I have conducted many measurements and troubleshooting, especially in the area of PROFIBUS. System problems are increasing because this bus system is well established and now slowly aging. To analyze such systems and find errors, we naturally need certain tools, and I would like to introduce them to you now. If you want to do measurements on your own, I recommend a diagnostic kit. It really includes everything needed to find such errors. I would like to introduce you to the tools included here. In the order I would proceed when I come to a system and need to analyze it, I would always start with the PROFIBUS inspector. This tool is normally intended for long-term analysis. With this tool, we can analyze the telegram traffic. You can see if there are telegram errors, repetitions, if there are general problems. This tool can be easily integrated into the control area, for example, into the bus, by simply using an active programming cable, which I will show you later, to incorporate it into the system. The next tool would be the PB-QONE. It is intended to provide an overview of the communication in the individual segments during ongoing operations. It is very clearly presented using a bar chart. However, you can also analyze the signals more precisely by using an oscilloscope function in the device. Furthermore, the entire telegram traffic is recorded here as well, providing an initial overview. With this tool, you can perform a topology determination during operation. The basic requirement for these measurements is that you have a measuring point at the beginning and end of each segment, as it is important to always conduct measurements from both sides. The third tool would be for a plant shutdown. This is one, the PROFtest II. With it, you can measure each segment individually and conduct a cable test there. This device would display cable lengths, cable resistances, and so on. And if there are problems in the physics, it would show them to you precisely to the meter. The last tool would then be the leakage current clamp meter. Yes, it can happen. You have conducted all the analysis, you have measured with the PB-Q and actually saw good values in the bar. You conducted the line test, and here too there were good values. And now there is one last possibility, and that is the famous EMC issue. That means currents that, for example, flow over the shielding. To find this out, there is this current clamp, which is relatively well insulated and can show you the alternating current components on your wiring. So now I have introduced the tools to you. Of course, we also need adapters for the tools in order to be able to use them, and these are located on the second level of the case. What kinds of adapters are there? I had already mentioned that the inspector could be connected to the control system with an active programming cable. It is really important to use such a cable and not to build one yourself, because that could cause feedback in your bus systems, and that would then cause an additional error or distort your measurement. The next tool is the PB-Q. Here you have several adapter options, including this 90-degree adapter, which was specifically developed for this device. The advantage of this connector is that it also has slight decoupling, because this measuring device is meant to be connected to an operating system. And here it would be disastrous if there were feedback and your system failed because of it. You must always connect this PB-Q with a laptop, so you need a cable for that. That means you connect it accordingly and then link it to your laptop. The power supply of the device is provided via USB. From this moment, you will recognize that there is contact when the diode is on. Then, of course, the last thing is the prof test. Here, you also have various contact options, right? There is a PROFIBUS sub-D or IP66M12. Accordingly, there are also different adapters here. For example, you would have the one for the M12 variant, right? Simply connect it normally here as well, link everything, and the device is ready for measurement. Yes, another adapter as mentioned, well, the sub-D contact point, or if you have directly clamped devices, you can also simply plug in with this free adapter. What else do we have? The last thing would be, if you want to conduct the line test, it includes the terminating resistors. These must be powered in the PROFIBUS. If your control system, for example, is located at one end, you would need to interrupt the communication accordingly, but ensure the power supply. For that, there is the so-called bus separator, right? So this large silver adapter piece. What's important here is that you can use this contact to switch the communication on and off, and thus conduct your line tests, including the terminating resistors. I can only recommend getting a PROFIBUS diagnostic kit. In case of system failure, it is worth its weight in gold. Otherwise, of course, to regularly measure and keep track of your system's condition at any time. Otherwise, if you have further questions about the devices and so on, feel free to contact my colleagues and me. And otherwise, I can only recommend we can also come to you and conduct a briefing on the devices together and make measurements on the systems and provide recommendations here.